This is going to be your guide to Pokemon Quest. That's kind of it. We don't really have too many more specifics to talk about. I've already done cooking guides, recipe guides, rare Pokemon guides, leveling, adventuring, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But finally, we have all of the details and the information about the Pokemon inside the game. The stats, the movesets, the how you get them, the bingo bonuses. It looks like we're done. It took over a month, but we finally have the individual information about Pokemon, and that is what this video is about, giving a lot of credit to Serebii for updating the pages and having it all, because it used to just be like, oh hey, we figure out how to get the Pokemon through what cooking recipe, maybe the levels, and then all the moves that it learns, and a lot of this wasn't really specific for a while. It just kind of contributed, like, hey, I got this move on this Pokemon, and then it would be updated, but I guess a data mine happened because of Pokemon Quest Mobile being released, and now we have all those cool details, so I'm going to break it down. But first off, I just want to talk about Serebii, because I didn't think Pokemon Quest would get here. I thought that was going to be fairly basic, even though the depth of this game and the details are pretty insane, because yeah, when you compare it to the actual like main series Pokemon games and competitive stuff behind it, there is so much details. First off, we have all the generations, so if you're playing like Gen 4, if you're like playing an older Pokemon game, you want to figure out where to find the Pokemon, the moveset in that generation, the stats, Serebii has you covered right there. But then also, when we just kind of look at one of my favorite parts about this is as we scroll down, we get to the bottom, and this was really what made me fall in love with Serebii. Just like one of the most comprehensive stat guides that you could ever find, with a neutral nature, beneficial nature, the max IV ranges and stuff like that, as well as the base stats for that Pokemon. Bulbapedia doesn't have anything like this. It just shows max and minimum for level 50, level 100, but having the beneficial natures is really what sold me right here, and I find this all pretty cool. So we can kind of get a really good stat lookup right there, compare, contrast, and back in the 4th and 5th generations, while I was running all my numbers and trying to come up with competitive teams and work on the game like that, Serebii was a pretty big resource, which is why I'm really happy that we have like that again, and it shows the depth inside of it, because now that we have all these other guides, we can keep going deeper and deeper when it comes to Serebii. So for starters, the cooking guide. Cooking has been updated, and I've learned quite a few things. So this was something that also came out recently. Stat bonuses. Apparently using a cooking pot, depending on the tier of the cooking pot, actually gives you better stats on 2 layers. Gives you more chances, or just like a higher range of IVs, and then also gives you a plus 300 stat bonus for that Pokemon. So brass cooking pot compared to gold, yeah, like, it's just such a massive difference. So it takes a ton of resources, high risk, high reward, but your Pokemon is stronger. And then we do have all of the little things as well. I've already done like cooking guides, recipe guides covering all this, but it is pretty cool that Serebii has like all the details. It's really in depth right now, which I think is pretty cool. But kind of showing a Pokemon like Starmie, we have these low ranges at all these different levels and stuff, and then into the high range. So yeah, Starmie can be anywhere from 1050 to 1150 if you're using Gold Cooking Pot, or 750 to 760 if you're just using a Brass Pot. So massive difference in power right there. The bingo bonuses. So this was also another pretty big one, because like for bingo bonuses, you kind of had to ask on the Pokemon Quest Reddit, like, hey, or not Reddit, the Discord, like, hey, which of you guys are running this Pokemon, and what's the good bingo bonus that it has? So this is maybe one of the most important things about Pokemon as well, that potentially some Pokemon you're losing out on 20% bonus damage, wait time reduction, stuff like that. So now you can actually see the Pokemon you're going for, and if you have like a really good or really bad Pokemon in that regard, like say I have a 1060 on my Starmie, it's like, well, didn't get that great on the IVs, or I used a bronze cooking pot, so it's like, oh, I only have an 820 instead of what could be an 1100 or something like that. Could have the right bingo bonuses. And then the moves is also really nice, because some moves are just better than others in this game, and Hydro Pump's pretty busted, so you can have to see which Pokemon get it, as well as the pre-evolution. So pre-evolved Pokemon are the only ones that appear through cooking: Mulligan Stew, Yellow Curry, Mouth Watering Dip, Alakube, and we can see the moves right here. So depending on what moves certain Pokemon want, you actually have to evolve it. There's no Hydro Pump, there's no Psychic, nothing like that. So you evolve it to Starmie, you're good to go, and this is just a great resource right now, showing all that. So a few other things we have are the Pokemon listings, and what I really like about this is, again, we're seeing the base stats of the Pokemon. So you take these base stats, and then you just kind of scale it up with the IVs, with the bonuses that you get, and then that's going to be really powerful, as well as the level, all kinds of cool stuff. So it's like a really quick reference, and you can kind of see if your Pokemon is worth investing into. Like, hey, do I want to Raichu? 150, 450. Is 450 a good attack stat? Let's see, Firo has a 500, so you can keep like scrolling around and seeing like, yeah, the higher ranges are around, wow, that's 600 on the Dugtrio is actually really strong. But you can see like some Pokemon have 600, 700 is kind of near the top when it comes to Alakazam, and even for the legendary Pokemon, it's like, hey, how good are the stats on legendary Pokemon since they are legendary Pokemon after all? Mewtwo's at 750. Mew just barely off screen because that's at the very bottom page. Mew's actually 650, 650, and then Mewtwo is 550, 750. So Mew, 100 more hit points, slightly less damage, really doesn't matter too much. The Dragonite, actually surprisingly not as strong, and then other Pokemon might actually have surprising amounts of damage. The Aerodactyl, the Kabutops actually being pretty big on the damage. Porygon, a lot of people are like, yo, Porygon's so strong. Well, the base stats of Porygon for being a not fully evolved Pokemon aren't that crazy, but yeah, then you get the attack of normal type moves, so a Stab Hyper Beam is going to be insane. Actually, you just keep compounding the attack, so it doesn't have a lot of base, and then it turns into 40% more damage, which is pretty awesome right there. And then, yeah, even then, like, another thing about Pokemon Quest is that these stones make a massive difference when it comes to the strength of a Pokemon. That depending on what the Pokemon's keystones are, you know, it's going to have 7,500, 8,000 potential attack if you're just maxing out and going for that attack. It's only losing out on 300, while not the most optimal, ideal thing, isn't the worst case scenario, and then you're just getting more damage on top of more damage. So comparing the moveset, comparing the bingo bonuses, and then trying to get like the most optimized Pokemon, I think it's pretty cool. And then we have the attack listing. So I feel like the attack listing is the only thing that isn't up to date just yet. Like, we do get the breakdown of how the moves work. So for the status moves, since they don't have damage, that's just fine. And yeah, we can't click on it to actually see the individual way of how it works. So it would be nice to have the damage that the move does, because there's some crazy moves. Hydro Pump is busted, Psycho Cut is insane damage, Crunch is surprisingly very powerful, we have Mega Horn, we have Hyper Beam, we have all kinds of other moves. I mean, yeah, there's actually a massive, just long list of moves that can be learned in this game. So status versus damage, some moves just better than others, much like we see in Pokemon, and overall we can still kind of see that, then compare it to what the Pokemon learn, and we should be good to go right there. And then the last thing to talk about is PokeQuestRecipes.me. I've already done a video covering this, mostly in my all Pokemon recipe guide, but really just kind of shows how everything about Pokemon Quest has really come together right now. Like I said, I guess it might be from a little bit of data mine. I guess it's also just from the amount of research gone into the game. And yeah, it's gotten to the point where we can either see what Pokemon are inside of what recipe. So if I happen to make a special red, is that going to give me a Pokemon that I'm looking for? What if I'm just going for a normal one? Is the Pokemon I'm looking for here? Or just do the straight lookup? I want a Cubone. How do I get a Cubone? Well, that's going to be the Pokemon inside of the Mudpie Alacube. Is there going to be any competition for it? Well, it actually shows you, because, okay, Cubone's the only Pokemon from Special Mudpie, but if I'm going for a very good Veggie Smoothie, I might actually get some other Pokemon, and then you can even, like, target individual Pokemon inside of it. It's pretty crazy. Like Psychic, well, I can filter by Drowsy, only in the very good, on the Brain Food, and that's kind of it. So yeah, that's Pokemon Quest. Oh yeah, and then one other thing I forgot to mention are these special attacks. So you might have noticed that, like, right here, like, why is special attacks blank? Have they not been discovered, or is it just a placeholder? Mostly it's a placeholder for the DLC Pokemon, because Snorlax, Nidoran, and Lapras, they have special moves, so that's listed right here, as well as the Pikachu. Surfing Pikachu was available for the first 72 hours of the mobile launch. We're going to see if, like, other updates make other special moves available, introduce new Pokemon, stuff like that, and then we're just going to kind of keep on top of it, I guess. So Pokemon Quest, it looks simple. A lot of people just like, oh, they killed Brick Bronze and Pixelmon for this, and it, you know, you don't have full control over your Pokemon, but there's a lot of depth inside of it. Like, IVs exist. What else do you need to know besides IVs existing inside of this game? The Keystones have, like, a lot of diversity, can give you a lot of power, tons of RNG, but, like, fully optimizing the Pokemon is really going to be what makes or break a team, and that's going to be it. So, you guys, enjoy the video, just kind of breaking down new resources, new fun stuff inside of it. If you need any help, I think everything's about covered. So if you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, share it with your friends. If you want to learn more about Pokemon Quest, you can find links in the description to what I showed. So Serebii, if you're looking up a Pokemon, you know, like, sometimes people, they like to watch videos because it's more of like an entertainment value. Like, oh, I'll learn through, you know, some people are hands-on learners, other people they're visual learners. So it's like, oh, I watched someone else doing the video and then I can kind of understand that concept. Or some people, they don't have time. It's like, why am I going to sit through a couple minutes of video when all I have to do is hop onto a Serebii page or use the PokeQuest recipes looking up the Pokemon, and then I can get it instantly. So depending on what you're into, PokeQuest recipes, that's going to be in the description. Serebii, all those links to the Pokemon Quest guides that's on that website will be posted as well. And then you can also find my playlist. Pretty much everything about Pokemon Quest has been covered. I think from here on out, it's just going to be like walkthrough and experimentation, because there are a few things that, you know, you just have to make a weird video on, like, does this work? How do you get this? The experimenting, theory crafting side of Pokemon Quest still has a lot to go, but at least the numbers. You know, what creates the theory craft? What creates the ideas that need to be tested inside the game? The testing, that's video format, but everything else looks like the hard details and the baseline is set, so we're good to go. So guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Comment down below what you think, and that's going to be it. So thank you very much for watching.